and we're going to go head first into the final game for Game Talk. Initially, I had a lot of games in mind, and games in general are just sentimental to me. Although I like to downsize my collection, it's usually with the intent of preserving the ones that I really care about. And I think back to a game that you're probably not expecting from me, but it's aligned with a lot of the things I've been talking about even in the Q&A sections. Back in, I'd say maybe 2016, I ordered an import model of a Sega Dreamcast. And, I'm not I've never been a huge Sega console owner. Not until I came back from school and I started collecting did I own a Sega Genesis, did Alex get me a Sega Saturn. And so when I looked into the Dreamcast, not only was the unit expensive, but the games were expensive, etc. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go the import route. I'm also going to teach myself some Japanese. So I bought myself an import Sega Dreamcast from Japan. Thing first came over, started honking at me, like every time you turn the console on. And so it's like, this isn't good. I can't play this. Like, I feel bad. I feel like I'm scratching my discs. So I sent it back to the guy. Actually, I didn't even send it back. I just said, hey, here's my Dreamcast. I took a video of it and I sent it to him in an email. And he's like, oh, that's terrible. And so he sent me another Sega Dreamcast. I had 2 Sega Dreamcast import models. And I built up a decent collection. I have maybe like 10, 15 games, all cheap. If you pro collector tip, if you're trying to go for old consoles, is get those import games, whether it's N64, Sega Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, doesn't matter. Like they're dirt cheap by comparison. So here I was with all these import games in Japanese. And I just lost the stamina to keep teaching myself Japanese. So I ended up not playing Grandia 2. I ended up not playing Shenmue. I ended up not playing a lot of the games except for the arcade style games. I was really disappointed I got a Sega Dreamcast until I found out about a game that was released after the Sega Dreamcast had ceased. So one thing about the Dreamcast is that it received homebrew games around 10, 15 years later. And this one was a standout for the console, so much so that one of my favorite YouTube content creators did a video on it that really won me over. And that was Mark Bussler from Classic Game Room. He did a video on Sturmwind for the Sega Dreamcast, a game that came out in 2013. And they made another print run of it in 2017. So I ordered it through PlayAsia. I got the game in the sleek Sega Dreamcast case. I didn't pay more than maybe $60 for it, or maybe even 40. I don't remember at this point, but the game was so good. I played Spaceship shooters, and this one it's similar and different in many ways, but I think the thing that I really appreciate about Sturmwind is that every level feels like a theatrical event. It's like something, almost a piece of art. So most games, when you think back to what they sound like, you can think of the OST. Earthbound has a lot of classic OST that I know of because before I even knew the game. But the interesting thing about the levels in Sturmwind is you could start it off and all you're hearing is the sounds of German pilots on a submarine and this kind of aquatic effects. You don't even hear music, and then it starts to crescendo halfway through each level. I do find that there's approximately 20 levels, and each one of them is very difficult. And there's an interesting system for saving your ship. That's actually a big reason why spaceship shooters tend to be difficult, is because if you don't have a shield on your ship, then it's really easy to just bump into things with collision with either objects on screen or the parameters, the walls. With Sturmwind, you have 3 weapons. You have a red weapon that kind of as you let go of the button, the shot begins to spread, almost like you're spreading octopus legs or something. You have another one that's a blue curve shot, and then you have another one that's just a straight green shot. Each have different power levels and different ranges, I guess, but you can also change the fire mode so it goes behind you. And you collect these little upgrades too to power them up. It's actually these little color upgrades, but you shoot them and you have to align them with either one of the ones that you lost or with the same color upgrade. I don't want to lose you guys on the description of how this works, but I'm almost done, I promise. It's really interesting because it makes you think about A, what you need to get through this level, but B, whether you want to lose which upgrade and when. And when you lose an upgrade, you're losing part of your shield. You can get it back later if you find some of these upgrades throughout the level, but at what cost? And so you usually only have like 2 lives going into each mission. But I really loved just the difficulty, like the theme for each level. It was very aquatic. I remember fighting like a big football fish at one point. Another time there's like a puffer fish that starts from the start of the stage. The classic is like that big, evil, sinister looking octopus, which the game came out with this cute little plushie for it. And just a lot of amazing, awesome experiences. And now they have it on Steam and the Nintendo Switch. So I'm currently playing it on the Nintendo Switch. It's called Sturmwind EX. A lot of great levels. It's beautiful. It sounds great. There's a lot of like funny little throwbacks in there. Interesting thing maybe for Alex here. I think it was originally programmed for like the Jaguar or something, but they like ceased production on it. And so some of the things are throwbacks in the game. One of the things I remember is like I'm going through this level. It's very serious. And then all of a sudden I see a soccer ball running across the stage. It's the funniest thing. But I love this game. I can't recommend it enough. It has button mapping. So like it's a winner in my book as a pro button mapper here.
I've always been very interested in this game, and I've always been very interested in like homebrew communities. I'm a big part. Oh, well, not a big part because I don't make games, but I'm a big connoisseur of the Atari 2600 homebrew community. So I'd be interested in maybe getting the Dreamcast release of this. Maybe
it's very reasonably priced too on the Switch. You get it for like $12 as well as on Steam. Versus when I saw the game on eBay, I think it was like $80-$90. And unfortunately, when I got it on the Dreamcast, I did the one playthrough. I went back to play it like a year later, and the game just like it would play up until like the title screen and then just stop. And it was so weird because it was a new disc from PlayAsia, so I don't really know what happened there.
When did they release that game? Like how late? What was the year they released that game?
2013 or 2014. Mark gave it Game of the Year for 2013, but then I'm looking on another Sega fan site and they're saying 2014, so sometime around then, depending on the region.
Yeah, I do recall like a lot of YouTubers did videos about that game, and I remember watching footage, but I've never played it.
It's so approachable, even like for a spaceship shooter fan, because you could take it mission by mission. There's no like credit system. So, and you also have difficulty selection, easy, normal, hard. I'm playing on normal right now. I think originally I played it on easy. I'm almost done with the game. But you could do arcade mode as well if you wanted to take everything on, in sync. I just think that it's a little intimidating, even for someone who's like played the game a second time.
Does the EX version has any like extra content or features or?
I think there's like a couple extra bosses. I'll pull it up real quick. I'm not really sure. I haven't noticed much of a difference. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the actual page, but it's probably there.
Okay.
Why is this game perfect for Spencer?
Spencer does not play shoot 'em ups or spaceship shooting games. He played them at the dentist years ago, and I think I just have a correlation between the two.
Dentist.
Something about caveats.
Every time I see Gradius, I just think of the dentist.
Yeah, I just hear, we're gonna fix your teeth.
Did you want to learn German, Spencer?
No.
Warst du Deutsch erlernt? I don't know. It's been a while since I spoke German. But it's pretty sincere. I thought it's cool. Like it's an international game by like a small company,
Mm-hmm.
That's it feels like, I feel like we get a lot of Japanese games, a lot of Japanese style games. So it's always cool to see like a game that feels more European.
Sure.
I'm looking here. I know originally you used to be able to input your high scores onto a website with like a code you get after you beat the game on the Dreamcast. I think they have like online leaderboards. I'm seeing like also additional super weapons. And I think maybe the addition of button mapping makes it kind of interesting here.
Okay, Sturmwind or Darius Gaiden?
Oh, Sturmwind is far more approachable, I feel.
Or Ikaruga.
I was gonna say Ikaruga.
Nah, Ikaruga is not. I don't think that's approachable.
that game is hard as hell.
But I'm talking for like shooter fans.
Even me, like I think that the stuff in Sturmwind is far more intuitive. While I think Ikaruga's cool, I found it just like difficult for the sake of difficulty. I don't know. Versus this is not a bullet hell. Like this is a well-paced game where you'll be paying attention the whole time and not feel cheated.
Okay.
And I think just the combat system in general is very intuitive, and it keeps you thinking about where's the next upgrade? Am I too far on this side of the screen? Should I fire forward or behind? What upgrade do I want to get now? It's so cool because like even the octopus shot, like you get like you can as you get upgrades, you can fire directly forward, so it increases your radius that you can fire. But you only get up to like 3x of the whatever power up you're on. You can also store them, but it's like in Musha, they're called like little buddies, I guess, these little guys on the side of your ship that like stay with you and you don't want them to get hit. It's a similar system where your upgrades are like these little side ships that are helping you as you play the game.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now on the Steam store page, and it looks really cool, man. The art. I'm going to add it to my wish list on Steam.
I might have to get on Switch, maybe.
Mission accomplished. I want to see more like it, so please buy it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, looks really good, man.
It is well accepted by our community too. I know Boston Burf has recommended it. I know Leo has recommended it. So I know it's, even for like, within our circle, it's known.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some shooters.
Switch, man. Switch is quite a shooter house.
It is. It sure is, man. It's nuts.
Put a lot of weird stuff on there too.
If you want spaceship shooters, if you want twin stick shooters, if you want some graphic novel games where you can date a high school Japanese anime girl.
Oh, sign me up.
Sign up for an import or a Japanese account today.